All right, so this is just a brief, quick way tutorial on just typing up your biography assignment. It's the first assignment for the web design class, VCP 144. So just in case you're wondering, you can use any text editor. It doesn't matter. You could use WordPad or TextEdit if it's on a Mac. I'm using what's called Sublime Text. You can download if you want. I just like it because it does color code as you're typing it, so it's a little bit easier. Okay, so I'm just going to get right into it. So first things first, what I need to do is let the document know that this is HTML5. So right off the bat, we have to type doc type, and you have to start with a exclamation point, doc type, and then HTML, okay? That's just the generic thing. You're going to put that in the beginning of every single HTML document you make. It just says this is HTML5, which is the latest, okay? Next thing we need to do is tell the computer that this is indeed an HTML document. So I'm going to type in HTML, and then I need to close the HTML. So this way it knows that this is where the HTML document starts and ends. Okay, so whenever you always have an opening tag and a closing tag. Try to do both at the same time, so that way you don't accidentally forget to put the closing tag. So you notice I did my starting one and my ending one for HTML. This is called just a what do you call it? An open one, so we don't have to worry about that right now. All right, so I did that. All right, so the next thing I need to do is work on the head and the body. Okay, so head. Sorry, make that a tag. So head, and then I'm also going to go ahead and put the closing of head. Okay, and then I will do the body, and do the closing of body. Okay. So basically, if you remember, the way this works is that the head contains information that the browser reads, but it's not explicitly obvious to the user. The body holds the information the user actually is going to see. Okay. So now I'm just going to put the stuff into this. All right. So the first and foremost is just to put, I'd like you to tab in to your chunks here. So first thing is title, and I can't spell very well. Title, really can't spell well. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the closing one of that too. Title, and this is just, I'm going to call it just John's biography. Okay. And so when I go to save this, this is the thing that will show up at the top of the browser. Okay, so that's one thing I need. The other thing I need is the meta. Okay, so the meta just gives information that the browser or the search engines will use. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm just making an attribute, more or less. I'm going to call it name of this attribute. It's just going to be description. Okay, so I'm saying this is a description for this meta, and the content of that description is going to be the story of John, and we'll leave it lowercase, John Cohn. Okay, and then this is an open element. Okay, so that means there's no closing tag. Okay, so that's good enough for that. Like I said, the user's not necessarily going to see that stuff. Well, I guess it will see the title, but okay, so now the body is the stuff that actually is going to exist inside of here. Okay, now and up to this point, most of this is going to be the same no matter what you're doing. So first things first, I'm just going to go ahead and make an H1, which is my number one heading. Okay, and then do the closing one as well. Okay, and then inside of that, I'm just going to say John Cohn biography. Okay, and that's just my title. It's like the top. Okay, then after that, I'm actually going to put an H2. Okay, H2, and that will say how it all began. Okay, and then I'll just put the close on that, H2. Okay, and so after that, I'm going to put a paragraph, which is basically just your simple text. So like if this was a web, this right now would all just be paragraph, because you see how it's all just, just normal text. There's nothing in bold, nothing bigger. So this is a paragraph. And I say he was born a long, long time ago So go great. And if I want to add another paragraph, so it starts on a new line, meaning like hitting enter, I could just do another P element, and I'll write in a galaxy far, far away. Okay. Oops. Okay. Which is great. Should probably put a period on that. All right. Now I'm just gonna do another H2. Okay, so H2. And I'll do the closing one too. You can do it before or after. Obviously, sometimes I forget. I get used to typing it just at the end, but you might want to type both parts in and then do it. Okay. So how it all began. Where is he now? We'll say. Always good to do a title as a question. I know that's like a terrible thing. I don't care. So we'll do another paragraph after that. Okay. And we'll say he is right here. Duh. Okay. That's great. And then we'll do one last one. This time I'm going to make it an H3. So it's a little... it's going to be a little bit smaller. It's not as high level as the H1, and then obviously H2, and then last would be H3. So H3, I'm going to say, and where is he going? And then I'm just going to put another paragraph there. Okay. And I'm just going to write nowhere. Okay. Like that. Now all I got to do when I'm done with this is I just need to save it. So I'm just going to hit Control S or whatever to save. You can just do File Save. And I'm just going to say, we'll call it, actually it's got to be your last name underscore bio. Okay. And then what you want to do is after it, don't just let it, let me make this a little bit smaller so you can see inside of it. Don't just name it like that. You got to write .html so that it knows that it's an HTML document. You notice that most time when you have files, they'll have like an extension is what it's called. You want to make sure you write .html and then hit save. And now what I can do is I can actually open that up. Okay. And you can see, I had this one from before. You can see right here, it actually shows it as an HTML. Actually, sorry, this one. It shows it as an HTML. And when I go to open this, which it showed up over here, this is what it looks like. John Cohn, you can see that's the biggest one. You can actually see at the top it says John's biography because that's what I wrote in the title. And then each one of these are paragraphs. Remember I made 2 paragraphs, so it actually went down one. And there you go. Okay, so that's basically what we're looking at. All right, so sometimes it's a good idea to kind of, as you're going along, to save it and then see it. You can see now the program actually knows what this is, so it actually it put all the highlight, it highlighted all the tags now. Okay, so some other things you're gonna need to do is actually add some semantic and formatting tags. So what we might do is say, I might say I want this to be bold, the it. So I'll just put a B, all right, for bold tag. Make sure you gotta make one a closing tag, okay? And then I'll say for far, we'll say for this one, I'm gonna make it italic. So I'm gonna put an I. Okay. All right, so that'll make what's inside of these 2 tags, which is far, it's gonna make that an I. Okay. So there's some basic formatting, but we could also do some semantic stuff. So if I do EM, that means emphasis, right? So I'm emphasizing, although it's going to look like an italic. And then we will put, what else do I want to put in there? Hang on a second. All right, so kind of the semantic equivalent. So the semantic equivalent of italic just means it's italic, right? Doesn't tell us anything about it. If I have emphasis, that means this needs to be emphasized, right? So bold really just means it's bold. But if I write something like, let me see, that's an H here. Okay, so we'll say nowhere. If I write strong, okay, that means that this is a strong thing. Now again, you're gonna notice, because I'm gonna save this afterwards, And then I'm just going to go ahead and save again. And since I already saved, I said Control S to save. And I'm going to bring my web page back over, okay? And what you're going to see when I go to refresh this is that now you can see far away is now like that. We got right and we got that, okay? So you can see how that works. Yay. Put this back over here. And that's basically it. That's what you need to do, okay? Good luck.